All right, welcome back to the enolve podcast. We pretend we're live today with inventor Matt Davis, who has come up with a way to protect homes from wildfires. That sounds like a really important thing to do. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about what the process was? How did you come up with this invention? How did you think of it? What's your experience, your background with that?
Well, my background is in transportation. I drive a truck. And in 2013, I was driving through Arizona during the Yarnell fire, and 19 firefighters lost their lives. And it just clicked in my head. As funny as it may sound, I was watching an episode of Breaking Bad. I think it was the fifth season, and when they were doing the fumigation tents for bugs on the houses, and it just clicked in my head. And sitting behind the wheel, for hours and hours and days on end, the wheels just kept turning and turning. And I thought, well, if they can do this with that, why can't we do this with fireproof material? So I started doing some research in my free time and finding the material. I got a hold of we did some prototypes that worked really well. I got a hold of a patent attorney. We did our due diligence. We did our search. We got back a ton of prior art. But everything with the prior art was either really complicated or just impractical. Well, my system is very simple. It's very quick. And I seen a need for it. So I just went ahead, I did my patent, and that's pretty much where it was.
Awesome. And so it's called the structural fire barrier shield, right?
Yeah, structure barrier shield, yes.
And so if you're saying it's like a fumigation tent, so it's a big tent that you just put over your house to protect it from the wildfire?
Pretty much that sums it up. It does. It's actually different panels. There's, one big tent would be extremely heavy. Right. So it's different panels that's held together with buckles and straps, and there's a few other little things in there that are that make it all work together. And it's real easy to install. One person can do it.
Well, one person can cover the entire house in a fireproof material.
If they're handy.
If they're handy, okay.
If they're handy, cool. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, ideally, a crew of 3 people would do it, but a homeowner can do it if he knows how to do it. If he's familiar with the layout of how to make the system work for him. And yeah, it can be done. It's pretty simple.
Gotcha. So the idea is you get this product and you have it as a backup, and in case, God forbid, but in case there's a wildfire in your area, you kind of put that over, and you can rest assured that your property is not going to be suffering damage.
Well, nothing is 100% certain. If you watch our video on our website, you can see that there was some damage to the siding, to the vinyl siding of our test wall. Nothing is 100% foolproof, but this is the same material that the U.S. Forest Service uses to protect their historical cabins, visitor centers, and things like that. I just took it one step further.
Gotcha. So, and you have the patent is approved and everything, so it's in the public domain and everything. So can you tell us a little bit of the details of the patent? Like, what are some of the innovations that you contributed that were then patentable, right? Because that's the thing about patents. Like you said, prior art. I don't know anybody listening if they know that, but when you come up with a patent, you can't just take something that somebody else did and change it just slightly, right? You got to actually change it sufficiently enough to where it's like, okay, yeah, this is actually a brand new idea and we can give a patent. So what are some of the ideas that you implemented there? I'm curious to hear that.
Multiple D-rings for strapping, I have an overlap that's designed where the panels come together so they don't just lay flat. They actually fit inside of each other. That keeps embers from getting up underneath of it. Another thing that was original was our grounding, the way we did our grounding securement. It also an option in it, which is just an option, is the material can have water channels that are sewn inside of the material. It's really kind of impractical because once the electricity goes off, the water pressure drops. So, I mean, it can work, but it's kind of it's kind of an impractical thing. But it was something that my patent attorney suggested that I put in there. It was in the original design, so he just said, well, let's just put that in there. It'll kind of give us a little better chance of getting approved just because of prior art. I went through a lot of prior art. I bet I spent 3 months going through all the prior art, and that's one thing I can't stress enough to people who come up with an idea and have an invention. Read the prior art, because one conflict will stop your patent from dead in its tracks. What else is pretty unique about mine? A lot of the materials, a lot of the prior art required cranes and helicopters and crews of 100 people.
Talk about impractical.
yeah. Well, that's what I say. It's very impractical, and so I thought, I could do this better, and well, I did. I fast tracked my patent, and within 6 months, I was approved. That's that's not real common, but I paid the extra money and had it fast tracked. My actual patent attorney was a former USPTO examiner, so he knew, the right process, how to make things go smoother.
Nice. Yeah, it's quite the process to actually get a patent. But so tell us about afterwards. Now that you have the patent, what's it been like? Are you distributing it yourself and manufacturing and all of that? What are some of the, what's it look like doing that?
Well, getting it out into market has been a challenge. Either people don't want to, they don't want to try it because, it is expensive. It's not a cheap item. It can cost as much as a new car if your home's big enough. And another thing that is a challenge is getting it in the right place at the right time. You pretty well have to be a fire behavior analyst to understand, okay, which way is this fire going to move? The winds are going to come from this way tomorrow. And I'm not an analyst. Okay. I have to, it's guesswork. I do have some product ready to go. I've got product in Southern California and Northern California, just waiting for the right opportunity. Right now, the opportunity I'm waiting for, I want to use my product for free. I want to offer it to somebody. My crew can come in, set it up on their property when it, becomes endangered, and show that my product does work is what that is. Another thing is getting people to listen to me. Right now, the fires are hot in California. Everybody's afraid of it, but they're so afraid of it that they don't want to take time to listen to me. And then in the wintertime or off season, they forget about fire. It's there, but it's not a priority, so they don't care, basically.
Yeah, I feel you on that. That is a challenge with the marketing to have the urgency in people to actually buy it, but then some things they just don't have that built-in urgency, at least not in the present moment. You really have to be smart about planning the future and all of that, and that's where you come in, right?
Right. Another challenge is funding. I'm 100% self-funded. Yeah, we've tried, and we've tried GoFundMe. We did an Indiegogo, and it just didn't go. It didn't work. We hired professionals to do all of the work, and it still didn't go. It's really funny that the onesie for a man raised several $100,000, but here we are, we're wanting to protect people's homes. Nothing, crickets. That's a true story. That's true. That's true. Because we were actually competing, or well, not competing, but we actually ran a campaign at the same time they were running their onesies. And I just couldn't wrap my head around why this was failing.
Yeah.
But another thing too, not my house, not my problem, is a lot of people's attitude.
Right. Now, if you say that the cost of it can be kind of like a car, do you As you just distribute it, do you have any financing offers there? Like, do you go around offering people to get this as a payment plan, and then it kind of becomes like an insurance, right?
No, I don't. I'm quite sure if I got with some of the nationwide financing companies, that I could get them to say, okay, you know what, we'll back, we'll finance for people that are credit worthy. But that's another step that I want to move to. Right now, for the last 2 or 3 years, my goal has been, I just want to get my product seen. I want to get my crew on a house. I want to get my house wrapped, or a house wrapped. I want people to see my product does work. And when it does, I know when it does that things are going to get a lot improved. That things will improve, because then people will say, hey, this guy's got something. I've not heard anything bad from, I've shown it to several fire commanders in California, and I've not heard not one bad, that this is not going to work. This is a bad idea. Everybody's told me this is a good idea, but just making it work is another story.
Right. I've noticed the same thing. Yeah. If you have an invention, that's kind of your core idea, right? But then you have to also be inventive about everything that comes afterwards and have to come up with ideas. I see a lot of opportunities also for you maybe to partner with insurance companies and all of that, right? Because they can possibly reduce their liabilities through that.
Once I have established that my product works, I know my product works. You can see my test videos, my product works.
Right.
Once I get mainstream, the insurance companies will come. They will follow. They want to protect their investment, their capital. So once I've shown, that, hey, this is something that you guys need to get behind, and show them why, and I hate to say it, but my ideal scenario is my crew to go in and wrap a house in a neighborhood, and the next morning my house be the only one standing. And I really hate to sound like that, because people will lose their home, and it sounds cold, and I don't really want that to happen, but that would be an ideal scenario,
Right. Well, I really think that, marketing campaigns that focus on that kind of storytelling, right? Where you have, just like you said, the video, and where it's like an easy to understand kind of format. That's kind of my preferred format, is to make video content and kind of visualize what's in your mind and kind of put it out there for people to see. And so tell that story without actually the story needing to happen in real life.
Right. Yeah. That's just getting it out there first. Once people see it, then I think I could probably get some kind of investment, some investors. And that's what it is right there in a nutshell.
It's a great idea, and it sounds really important. And the challenges that come with bringing it out to market and making it more mainstream, they're just challenges to be overcome, right? Obstacles, problems that you can also solve.
Every process, even if it's just every move forward is a good thing. And I've had some setbacks. We had a lot of material setbacks, finding the proper material, and things like that. But as long as you keep moving forward, it'll become mainstream.
Awesome, man. I wish you good luck with the project, and we'll push the word out for it. We'll drop the links in the description here so people can check that out. And there's a video on the site, right, where you show how a house is being wrapped and protected.
Well, what we done test walls.
Gotcha.
And if you watch, we've got a control wall, and then we've got 2 different walls that are wrapped. And it shows it works. And we made that fire hot. That fire got it was intense.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one to check out. I'll drop the link below, and hopefully it gets into the hands of many homeowners who can protect their houses from wildfires, because we've seen how tragic that is, and you don't want to lose all your stuff.
It's devastating. It's devastating. And there's several business models I'd like to follow with it. One would be, of course, a homeowner buying their own private system. Another would be local contractors could come out but I mean, it would be limited to the number of contractors that could come out and wrap, homes in a certain area.
So protection as a service, huh?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Which would also kind of blend in with the franchising. Panel rental, which is further down the road when there's more product available. If somebody wants to, be like, go to Home Depot or Lowe's and just rent them like you would one of their trucks. Like renting a U-Haul truck, but you rent a system. And then you take it home, or you call up a crew, your buddy's got a contract, your buddy's a contractor. He comes over and sets it up for you. So there's a lot of revenue stream that could be generated. There's 77,000 communities that are at risk, and that's just in the United States. That's not counting Australia, Europe. There's even fires, South America, Africa. Then they're devastating. I mean, anybody losing their home to anything, flood, hurricane is devastating. But to lose your house in a fire where everything just becomes ashes is just the worst. I mean, it's just the worst.
So hopefully we can protect a lot of people with that, or you can protect a lot of people with that. It's a great mission that you're on. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, for sharing your story and everything. Is there anything someone who's watching can do for you? Any way to support you? What do you want us to do?
You know what? Just spread the word. Spread the word. I think there's a link to our Facebook on our website. Post our website out there. Let everybody see it, because I am going to run another fundraising campaign. I just don't know when. And any help I can get. I mean, the money doesn't go, it's not like I'm going to take your money and
it funds the product, right? It creates the distribution of
what
the
it
product.
it funds protecting people's homes.
Yep.
Because that's what it's going to be for, is to get the product out there. When I do my next fundraising, it's going to be, hey, look, we don't know whose house we're going to do, but we're going to do somebody's. But other than that, no, just spread the word. Get my website out. Tell people about the product. Any questions, they can email me from the website. My email is matt@barriershields.com. And the website, of course, www.barriershields.com. And, any questions, I'm free all the time. Just ask. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Amazing. Well, we'll get the word out for you, Matt. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
And thanks for all that you do.
All right. Oliver. Thank you.
Take care.